Two sisters decided to try a DNA kit just for fun. But when the results tied them to an unsolved crime from decades ago, their families' buried secrets began to unravel. What they found would alter the course of their lives. The attic smelled of old timber and faded memories. Naomi and Naya, identical in appearance but opposites in nature, stood side by side, rummaging through dusty albums, vintage trinkets, and cardboard boxes sealed with brittle tape. They had promised their mum they'd clean the attic after their grandfather passed away, a promise they'd delayed for weeks. "Hey, check this out," Nia said, lifting a plain-looking box labeled Heritage Quest. It was buried under a pile of old notebooks. Naomi raised an eyebrow. "A DNA test? Did Grandpa ever mention wanting to do one of these?" "Nope. Looks like he never got the chance," Naya replied, already opening it. Inside were 2 sample tubes, a guide, and prepaid mailers. Naomi chuckled. "Well, maybe we can finish what he started. Could be fun, right? See if we've got anything unusual in our lineage." The two couldn't have been more different in temperament. Naya, always methodical, read the steps carefully, while Naomi, ever the impulsive one, already had the swab halfway to her mouth. Within minutes, the test was done. Samples packed and ready to send. "Imagine if we're part something wild," Naomi joked. "Or descendants of royalty," Nia added with a smirk. They had no idea those simple tests were about to tear open their family's past. 2 weeks later, the email came. Naomi opened it first, her face lighting up with curiosity. Nia leaned over her shoulder as they scrolled through the results. The first page was what they expected, a mix of African and European heritage. But then they saw a warning. Critical findings. Please contact a genetic specialist. "What's that supposed to mean?" Nia asked, frowning. "No clue," Naomi whispered, eyes fixed on the screen. "Let's ask Mom," they called out. Their mother entered from the kitchen, smiling. But, as soon as she saw the message, her expression changed. "Let's not panic," she said quietly, but her voice shook. "We'll take these results to Dr. Harlan tomorrow and figure this out." The excitement of discovery quickly turned to tension. Something in their mother's voice hinted that this wasn't just a random alert. The next morning would begin a journey none of them could have imagined. They sat in the waiting room of Dr. Harlan's clinic. The smell of antiseptic filled the air, mingling with the low murmur of other patients. Naya tapped her foot restlessly, while Naomi scrolled her phone, trying to distract herself from the thick silence. Their mother sat motionless, clutching her purse tightly, eyes locked on the door that led to the consultation rooms. When the nurse finally called their names, they followed her down the hallway and into Dr. Harlan's office. He greeted them with his usual friendly tone. But as soon as he opened the folder containing the DNA report, his expression changed. "Let's have a look," he said, adjusting his glasses. He flipped through the pages, then stopped. His face tensed. "What is it?" their mother asked, leaning in. Dr. Harlan hesitated. "I need to examine this more thoroughly before I say anything definitive. Would you mind if I step out for a moment?" He left the room in silence. The door shut softly behind him, and suddenly, the ticking wall clock became deafening. Every second dragged on. "Mom, what's happening?" Naomi whispered. "I don't know, honey," her mother said, but her worried eyes told a different story. "Let's wait for the doctor." A few minutes passed. Then the door opened again. But this time, Dr. Harlan wasn't alone. 2 police officers stepped in behind him, their faces stern. "Naomi, Naya," one of them said. "We need you both to come with us." Their mother stood up in shock. "What's going on? They're just kids." Dr. Harlan raised a calming hand. Ma'am, something in their genetic results has flagged a serious matter. I can't share details here, but it needs to be investigated by the authorities. The room filled with a silent panic. Naomi and Nia looked at each other in disbelief, fear creeping into their eyes. "What did we do?" Naomi asked, her voice trembling. "It's not about what you did," the officer replied. "It's about what's been uncovered." The twins were quietly escorted out of the... Their mother followed closely behind, demanding to know what was going on. The moment they stepped outside, camera flashes lit up the sidewalk. Local reporters had already gathered, shouting questions over one another. In an instant, their normal lives became front-page news, tied to a mystery that would shatter their family's foundation. The ride to the precinct was silent. Naomi stared blankly out the window, her reflection flickering in the glass as buildings rushed by. Nia gripped their mother's hand, her knuckles white from tension. No one said a word, but their minds spun with questions. What could be so serious that the police were now involved? At the station, they were led into a small interview room. Just a table, 3 chairs, and walls that felt too close. A man entered, tall and composed. "I'm Detective Rowan," he said, his tone calm but serious. "I know this is a lot to take in, but please understand, we're here to protect you." "Protect us from what?" their mother snapped. "You still haven't told us anything." Detective Rowan opened a beige folder and slid a printed page across the table. It was a copy of the girl's DNA report. At the bottom, in bold print, it read, "Match found, unresolved case." The air seemed to shift. The weight of the words hit them all at once. "What does that mean?" Nia asked, barely holding it together. "It means your DNA matches evidence from a crime scene," the detective replied. "One connected to a case that's been unsolved for nearly 2 decades. Their mother turned pale. "What kind of crime?" she asked, barely above a whisper. Detective Rowan paused. "It involves a kidnapping. A child. Taken in 2005. The..." Twins exchanged confused glances. "But we were just toddlers back then," Naomi said, stunned. "Exactly," Rowan replied. "And that's why it's so concerning. The DNA found at the scene matches both of you, which strongly suggests a close relative was present at that time." Their mother's hands trembled. "No, that can't be. Someone's made a mistake." Rowan leaned in, softening his voice. "That's what we need to figure out. But we need your help. Is there anyone in your family, past or present, who might have been involved in something like this?" "No," their mother cried. "There's no one in my family capable of something like that." But Naomi, who had been quiet until now, Nia had been silent. Then, almost in a whisper, she asked, "What about Grandma?" The question dropped like thunder. Detective Rowan leaned forward. "Your grandmother, did she ever mention anything strange? Secrets she kept to?" "Herself?" Their mother shook her head instantly, but Naomi and Nia exchanged a look. "What about those journals in the attic? Could they hold the truth?" "We found her old diaries," Naomi said cautiously. "She never let us read them while she was alive. Maybe there's something inside." Rowan nodded. "Those could be important. Would you be willing to bring them in?" Their mother hesitated, then finally nodded. "We'll bring them," she said, her voice strained. "But this has to be some kind of mistake." As they stepped out of the station, a chilling thought followed them home. What had their grandmother been hiding for all those years? Back at the house, the mood was heavier than before. The family gathered in the living room. The box of old diaries sat on the coffee table like a fuse ready to ignite. Naomi and Nia exchanged a nervous glance, then opened the first book. The handwriting was delicate but strong, just like their grandmother's voice. It started off harmless. Family recipes, stories about neighbors, fond memories, but deeper in, the tone began to shift. "Listen to this," Naomi said, her voice tight. She read aloud. "That night, I couldn't sleep. I heard the car stop outside, and I felt it. Something was wrong. Then I saw the bundle, left at the doorstep. My heart dropped. I didn't want to be involved, but I had no choice. I had to protect them." "Wait, what bundle?" Nia asked, alarmed. Their mother leaned in, hands trembling. "Keep reading." Naomi flipped ahead. "They're safe now, but the memories haunt me. Every night I look at them and wonder, will they ever find out? I'm taking this secret to the grave." Silence filled the room. "Them," Nia whispered. "She's talking about us." Their mother shook her head, voice breaking. "No, that can't be right." But the twins kept reading. More fragments appeared. Snippets of a night their grandmother had buried deep. She wrote about a car pulling up in the dark, a man leaving something on the porch, an infant carrier, no names, no explanation, only words soaked in fear and guilt, and a desperate promise to keep someone. "Do you think we were adopted?" Naomi asked, her voice cracking. Their mother buried her face in her hands. I don't know. I always believed you were mine. I never had a reason to question it." Then they found something. An envelope, taped to the back of one of the diaries. Inside were 2 birth certificates. "Look at this," Nia said, pointing at the names. The mother's name was marked as unknown, but the father's name made them go cold. It was a name they'd never heard before. But when they brought the papers to the station, Detective Rowan instantly recognized it. His expression changed. "This man." "He was our primary suspect in the abduction case," he said gravely. "He disappeared years ago. If this is the connection we've been missing, it could explain everything." The truth was crushing. The twins weren't just connected to the case. They were the case. "But why would anyone leave us with Grandma?" Naomi asked. "That's what we're trying to understand," Rowan replied. "It seems your grandmother knew more than she ever told anyone. Maybe she was trying to shield you from something or someone." With more doubts than answers, the family had no choice but to face a past that wouldn't stay buried. The following days were a blur, a storm of revelations and unanswered questions. Detective Rowan started connecting the dots. Naomi and Nia pored through every page of the journals, and the deeper they read, the more unsettling the picture became. One entry stopped them cold. "He came back for them. I lied. I said I didn't know where they were. He threatened me, said he'd come again. I have to protect them." Nia's voice shook as she read the words out loud. Who was he? And why would he want us? Their mother sat still, gripping a coffee mug, as if it were the only thing keeping her from falling apart. "Your grandmother was always overprotective," she said, her tone far away. "I thought it was just how she was. I never imagined she was hiding this." Soon after, Detective Rowan confirmed what they feared. The man named on the certificates had once been linked to a child trafficking network that operated in the region. years ago. The case had gone cold after he vanished, but the twins' DNA had reopened the investigation, and now, the most terrifying question hung in the air. What if he's still out there? "Do you think he's still out there?" Naya asked one evening, her voice barely audible. The question sent a cold wave through the room. Detective Rowan didn't have a clear answer, but he assured them that everything possible was being done to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, the twins wrestled with questions about who they were and where they truly belonged. "Does this mean Grandma rescued us?" Naomi asked one night. "Maybe," Nia replied. "But it also means she knew we weren't hers, and Mom didn't know either." Their mother, standing nearby, stepped into the room. "You're mine," she said, voice trembling but strong. "No matter what any document says. No matter where you came from. You are, and always will be, my daughters." Her words brought comfort, but the unease never fully left. The girls still felt like pieces of a story that didn't quite fit. As the investigation went on, more unsettling facts came to light. Their biological father had been a wanted man for years, connected not just to the abduction, but to crimes far darker. But the one question no one could answer was why the girls had been left on their grandmother's doorstep. Then, in the final pages of her journals, they found a clue. "He told me they were in danger. He begged me to take them in, said it was the only way to keep them alive. I didn't believe him at first, but when I saw his eyes, I knew I couldn't say no. I still don't know what he was running from, but I swore I'd protect them with everything I had." It was both a revelation and a heartbreak. The man the world saw as a criminal was also the one who made sure they'd be safe. The truth gave them answers, but also left behind deep emotional scars, questions of forgiveness, of legacy, of how desperation can twist the course of lives. The weeks that followed, life slowly returned to a fragile normal. The media disappeared, though quiet whispers still floated around town. Detective Rowan kept them informed, but the search for their father went cold once more. And yet, Naomi and Nia felt something unexpected, a strange sense of peace. Their grandmother had risked everything to protect them, and their mother's love had never wavered. That love became the anchor that helped them stand tall as the truth came crashing down. One evening, sitting side by side on the porch, the twins watched the sun slip below the horizon. "Grandma did what she believed was right," Nia said softly. "She gave us a chance, even if it meant hiding the truth. She saved us, by keeping us safe and giving us—" "We might never have had a real chance," Naomi added. "And Mom, she's been our strength through all of it. No DNA result can take that away." Their mother, sitting between them, wrapped an arm around each daughter. "Family isn't just about biology," she said softly. "It's about the people who stay, who fight for you, and who love you, no matter what. That's what your grandmother believed. And it's what I believe too." The twins nodded, feeling the warmth of her words settle over them. Their journey had been full of revelations, fear, and moments that shook their world. But it also brought them closer than ever before. They had faced a painful past, and emerged on the other side, stronger, together. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, their mother spoke again. "Just remember this," she said. "No matter where you come from, it's what you choose that defines you. Never let anyone else write your story for you." The twins smiled, a new sense of identity growing within them. Their story wasn't just about a mystery or about secrets buried long. Ergo, it was about resilience, about love, and about the strength of chosen family to overcome even the darkest truths. If you've ever questioned your past or struggled with where you belong, remember, your strength is in the people who walk beside you. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that bring